You see, deep emotions tend to hide under the waters of intense and deep validation. Especially when you validate people without expecting anything in return. They tend to get a power high off of you, and that high tends to suppress any positive feelings they have for you. It's not accessible because the high is almost like an opaque screen between you and your true emotions, right? And so what would happen is that they're gonna act out really confident, and that type of stuff tends to suppress their feelings for you, right? It keeps their dark side at bay, but there are things that you can do to release those emotions. There are some things that you could do that will make somebody who is usually emotionally numb to feel something for once, okay? Because this is the thing: when you validate people, their self-esteem rises. And what tends to happen is that it rises not from a place of they worked for it, right? It rises because you're validating them and they didn't do anything for it. So it's almost like I feel good because I am a God's gift to the world. Okay, and that turns into grandiosity, a completely diversion from reality, and they often don't feel their true feelings for you unless you walk away, create space, or do some other strategies that I'm going to be talking about. Why? Because what you want to when somebody really does love you, there is a hint of insecurity behind that love. And that is what you want them to feel. Not just love, but insecurity. Because when you respect someone, when you value someone, there is a sense that if I lose them, I'm losing something valuable. So it's natural for you to feel insecure at losing something that's valuable. It's not a manipulation strategy. It is not me making you submit to me. It is a state that everyone who's in love feels. I'm just pointing it out, and it sounds evil when I point it out. Okay, so before we talk about those strategies, I want to first tell you guys why validation is so important. Okay, by the way, stay towards the end because we're going to be showing you guys how to join the Mindful Attraction University. It's a course that I made for all of you guys where I put all of my courses in one go so that you could purchase them all at a discounted rate. Right, so you could watch that ad at the end of the video, or else I'm closing it. The role of validation is to one, boost your self-esteem. Nothing wrong with that, right? They feel more significant and more valued by the person. The other thing is that it suppresses emotions, like I said, and this is a quality that a lot of people don't pay attention to. Well, while validating can be positive, it can also suppress genuine emotions, genuine feelings of respect, genuine treating you as a human, particularly negative ones. People might hide their true feelings to maintain their perceived sense of validation. And the next thing is that it's this role validation is pretty much dependent on the dynamic that you have with this person. Over relying on external validation could create a sense of dependency where individuals consistently seek approval from others to feel good about themselves. And these people who don't know how to feel good about themselves is always creating that monster, a person who you validate without them doing anything to work for it, or the illusion that they're working for it. And it also makes you look weaker in their minds because you're giving without asking anything in return. And people tend to look down on that. Okay? So what you want to be able to do is remove this numbing agent, remove this side effect of validation. Why? Because withdrawal and space creates this. Not just withdrawal. I'm going to talk about other strategies, but generally this is the main strategy that most people use. And when this one doesn't work, we could talk about other ones you can use. Why? Because withdrawal reveals what a person feels. When they're alone with their thoughts, when they're alone with their feelings, most people start to self-reflect. Right? When you give them no options, they start to look inside. And this self-reflection reveals certain things about them that actually shocks them to their core. Why? Because when validation is withdrawn or when space is created, the absence of self-assurance can bring underlying emotions to the surface. This state of insecurity can reveal how people feel truly about the relationship or the person providing the validation. Once you stop giving them that high, they get sober emotionally, physically, and mentally. And this tends to clear up in their minds what they truly value. So if you validated them to the nth degree and you pulled away because you were tired of the bullshit, if they were taking you for granted, they would not be aware that they're taking you for granted unless you leave. All of a sudden, that high wears away. It's almost like the numbing agent of when you put fucking in your teeth so that the freaking devil doctor deals with your teeth stuff, right? It wears away, and then all of a sudden you're left with this pain. You're like, oh shit, that really hurt. That is the same thing with love, right? Where you validate them so much that they stop seeing you. Honestly, they really stop seeing you. You're like an object that validates because you're only doing one thing at an extreme level. So people just compartmentalize. It's almost like a woman who's a stripper and they want the guys that they strip for to see them as humans. You're doing such an extreme thing and you're only showing us such an extreme side of your personality that it's very hard to see the human side. You get? So when you're someone that gives, honestly, some people, not all, they begin to just see you as that. So it removes your individuality, who you are. It's like guys who only give money to women. It's like, like she only loves you for your money because you're only showing that side because you're so insecure about the other side. You get what I'm saying? So this state of insecurity reveals how a person really feels. And what we try to do usually when we like someone is that we try not to make them feel insecure. And that tends to create a false sense of identity in their minds where they think they're better than you a lot of the times. It's important for them to feel insecure sometimes because it gets them in touch with reality. There's no reason why you should feel 100% secure in this unpredictable world. Feeling insecurity and allowing yourself to feel it will bring you closer to reality because that's how really things are. The next thing about space is that it creates insecurity and self-reflection. So not only it allows you to feel what you feel, but it also allows you to self-reflect. And that's why some partners are so self-absorbed because you never give them a chance to self-reflect. And and that insecurity will cause them to get more romantic. They start to give you gifts, do things for you. Insecurity can act as a catalyst for self-reflection, forcing individuals to confront their genuine emotions and the reality of their relationship. And that's why when you leave someone because they were taking you for granted, it's better to let them be alone for a while. Some people are more hard-headed than others, so that the more time, the more the distance between the distance of the relationship penetrates deeper. And the next thing that the withdrawal does is that it has a spellbinding effect. Right? Actually, that's not the truth. Actually, your presence has a spellbinding effect, but the pulling away increases it more. Why? Because they start to almost be like an animal that's being taken over by a parasite, where they begin to do everything you tell them. One of the things about being in love that tends to numb you also is the power you have over the person, right? When the power you have over the person is such it's such an intoxicating feeling. It's like the feeling that parents have when they have a child and a child admires them. A lot of parents will experience an increased level of self-esteem because they're getting validation unconditionally from someone, right? And this is a spellbinding effect. And this effect tends to not only affect the person who's spellbound, but also affects you because you're experiencing a cult-like type of high of power. And that tends to have a numbing agent on you. Meaning you start to see yourself as this powerful person, and you start to take more than what you should. You start to overuse your you start to abuse your power, right? And this tends to be felt because you feel a certain high. You feel a high level of self-esteem. So let's talk about this, right? Remember, it reveals the true feelings. That's what space does. Increases self-reflection. And it creates a spellbinding effect on. So let's talk about how to create this effect in people, right? One, remember, the ultimate flow of emotion comes whenever you have a certain level of emotions within your body. Let's just say you have this much, right? And your body uses this quantity for other things, depending on how your body thinks this is important. So when you stub your toe, it'll release maybe this amount. Maybe you miss your flight, it'll release this amount. My fucking God, you're fucking immature. Sorry. It'll release this amount. Maybe they told you you're gonna have to have surgery. You might release this amount. Maybe they told you have an incurable disease, and maybe this is the amount of fear you fear. Maybe you fear this amount, and there's this much left, right? There's a certain quantity of negative feelings for you. And the ultimate quantity that your body is going to release is when you're about to die, right? So anything that approximates an end, anything that approximates an end of an era, your body releases those emotions because for some reason when things end, there's a certain level of emotions that your body releases, almost like though to remember it, or before you die, you release so much so much emotions because you know this is the last time you're going to be on this earth. So your body involuntarily releases an intense level of emotions where it creates a psychedelic experience in the world, where you start paying deeper attention to people, where you start seeing things you didn't see before, where colors are more vivid, where emotions are more sharp and raw. It's almost like when you were happy, you ate your food cooked, but before you die, the emotions are so raw. It's almost like eating raw food, right? That rawness allows you to feel your emotions unfiltered, without any salt, without any pepper, without cooking it. And that is you're really penetrating deeply to reality. And what tends to happen is that what really matters to you comes to the forefront. If it's this person that you're dating, they're gonna come to the forefront. You're gonna feel an intense longing, like a crack addict, to be around them. So any approximate ends creates this. Maybe they're leaving to California and you're going to see them in a week. You feel an intense feeling of emotion. Maybe they're going to Africa to meet their African prince. All of a sudden you feel deep emotions. Maybe you're pulling away because maybe they disrespected you. They're going to feel that. Maybe they fucked up and now you want some distance. They're going to feel that, right? Maybe not as intense. Maybe you need to break up because they're fucking up. They're gonna feel that whatever emotions they're hiding, when they're eyeball to eyeball with the end of this thing, whatever the hell that is, their deep intense emotions tends to rise up. So what are some of the ways that some people could bring out emotions, right? One, like I said, any approximation to an end, the relationship. Maybe maybe you had an argument and you got to talk about it. Maybe you're thinking about ending it, or maybe it's in your face, right? We're going to talk about that. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. The next thing is that creates this is showing the sides that you suppress. Maybe you're pissed off at them for fucking up and you didn't want to tell them. Showing them that side makes you predictable, right? Showing them the side that you're not happy with what they're doing makes you more unpredictable. And the reason why it's this, okay? What you have to realize is that whenever people can predict things, they lose a certain level of emotional reaction to the things, right? Like they lose a certain level of emotional reaction, right? That emotional reaction, think about it, right? I'm here and I know you're about to scare me. Boo, motherfucker. And, right? Now, I'm here and you're about to scare me, but I don't know. Boom. And somebody scares me. All of a sudden, oh, you know how some people actually scream like a little girl, right? Like, oh my God, he's gay, right? Right? You're like, oh, you're not joking. No, somebody scares you, right? All of a sudden you look, you're like, oh, right? Feelings, right? So what happens is that when you don't expect something, your body just releases emotions as a defense mechanism. Right, it releases a bunch of emotions, surprise, fear, and all of those things prepare your body for combat, right? And that's because your body cannot predict those things, so it's always ready, right? But when it doesn't know what's gonna happen, when it knows what's gonna happen, it kind of like it prepares. I mean, it just it chills back. But when it doesn't know, it brings all of the emotions that are here. And it's almost like it brings them up just in case this thing might hurt me. That's where I'm here to talk to you. When they know you're never gonna leave, there is no edge. They're not on edge. They're not like because. They know what you're gonna do. They're already seeing all of your feelings. They've seen everything. But when you show them whatever you've been suppressing, meaning maybe they fucked up, maybe you don't like that they do this, maybe you don't like that they do that, maybe they're not close enough to you, maybe you want some space. All of those things are things that when they see you talk about it, they're gonna see another person. Because all of a sudden, those emotions were suppressed. It's gonna affect your nonverbal cues, your body language. You're not aware of it, and you're gonna look more serious. And they're gonna be like, your energy is off. And when they sense that your energy is off, but they can't point to it, it creates a unsettling feeling, and it makes you unpredictable because now they don't know what to expect from you because they're seeing something different. Understand that randomness, introducing unpredictability in schedules, in routines, in actions, can create a sense of unease, anxiety, forcing suppressed emotions to come to the surface. Maybe I'm losing this person. I did not expect this person to act cold. They're acting warm this whole time. What's going on? Surprise tactics. My videos. Unexpected maneuvers. Strategies. Sudden changes in the environment can disrupt mental stability, leading to an emotional release. Right now, obviously, look, there's some evil shit that I don't want you guys to do, like sleep deprivation, isolation, fucking sensory overload, deprivation, fear, threats. The only fear and threat is the fear of losing you and the threat of losing you. Stress position, don't do that. Interrogation techniques, don't fucking do that shit. Hunger and thirst, what are we doing here, man? Exposure to trauma, that's horrible. Like that physical, all that people, you see how we could get dark, and we're not going there. I'm only showing you fucking shit that you could choose, that you could do in church, right? The next one is the opposite sex. And the opposite sex is not just given the presence of other people in your life, right? Like I tell you guys, having Quintisha as my cook, right? Or when a girl has Tyrone, the personal trainer, right? It could be Tyrone, the gay personal trainer. Just because he's a dude, there's gonna be some insecurity. He could go straight any moment, motherfucker, right? So the opposite sex, having friends of the opposite sex, literally that. The problem is that when you guys get in a relationship, you guys remove friends of the opposite sex, or your partner doesn't want you hanging out with the members of the opposite sex, and that's the problem, right? Is that when you get in a relationship, you stop doing the things that got them to become attracted to you. You know, like all of those things, as having friends, having like me having female friends, makes you more attractive. You don't have to be banging the whole cheerleaders, right? But you know, you could just have the presence of the opposite sex, and that's enough. And that's also within you, showing signs of the opposite sex within you. That means if you're a girl, having male hobbies, if you're a guy, having female hobbies. Nothing makes a woman more attractive than having hints of masculinity. So remember, it's not just threatening, it's not just having the opposite sex in your life, it's literally even embracing the opposite sex in you. Like there's nothing more attractive than someone who has hints of the opposite sex in them. I'm telling you, like it's been consistently true in my life, at least. I could be projecting, to be honest with you. Next thing is conflict resolution. Right? Conflict resolution always creates tension in people, and that tension always leads to them wanting to resolve it because they value you. When you're in conflict, your true feelings come out, right? For example, when let's just say me and you are fighting, but then I have a friend of mine who's in the middle, right? The conflict between me and you, I say, yo, motherfucker, don't be friends with that dude, I fucking hate him, right? And the other friend, no, don't be friends with that dude, I fucking hate him too, right? The conflict will reveal how he feels about us. He's gonna choose a side. Conflict forces you to reveal how you feel, right? And so it's the same thing here. When you like someone and there's conflict, if the conflict will create a sense of fear, like, you get what I'm saying? Because you value them, you don't want to lose them, and you think they're valuable. So your assumption is that if you fight with this person, you might lose them. So it creates a sense of urgency. It creates fear. It creates a fear of abandonment. All that kind of stuff. So that's why you don't have to fight. You don't have to, fucking body slam, right? We're talking about conflict, shit that comes up in your life every day that you just choose not to talk about, right? And so once you resolve it, what tends to happen is that, conflict reveals the feelings they have for you, but it doesn't mean they're always going to show it, right? You could just create the conflicts just to see that they like you, just to see that they care enough to try to fix it with you. And a lot of the times, if they like you, they'll go back to their old behavior, but they're still going to be there, but they're not going to show those intense emotions like before. You get what I'm saying? Like, those intense emotions, it's almost like I said in the beginning, are there when you fear that there's something that you're going to leave them. Your body will release emotions that will cause you to pay deeper attention, that will cause you to feel insecure when you feel like you're going to lose them. It's the death effect that it has. So conflict resolution, I'm telling you, man, like have a fight with someone that you think loves you, and you'll see. Like, if you don't think they love you, have a fight with them. And and when I say fight, I mean have an argument. Talk about something that really matters that you want to fix. And if they don't want to fix it, like, make sure it's something that you're willing to walk away for. Threaten to walk away, right? This is conflict resolution. You get what I'm saying? So it's like conflict, fighting. Taking a break from each other because maybe you guys have some issues. All of those things, the only thing that it does is that it reveals the truth. And some people just don't want to know the truth because the truth hurts, that they may not love them back, And the last thing is that slightly pulling away will reveal emotions. That means slightly pulling away, meaning you just decrease the intensity, decrease how much you show with your face, right? Be less expressive, decrease the ranges of your voice, right? Rather than you're more like, okay, right? In your physical presence, right? You just slightly pull away physically. And this then creates an isolating effect, a sense of feeling alone, a sense that something's off, but I can't point to it. There is nothing more powerful than showing people you stop liking them indirectly and in a subtle way. It'll confuse the living shit out of them because they could just sense there's something off, but they can't point to it. It's very unsettling. It confuses people, it makes them pay attention, and above all, it releases emotions that they're suppressing. I'm telling you, if they love you and you start acting like this, slightly pulling away in the face, nonverbal cues, in your paralanguage, emotions will come out that will shock you. You know, it would just shock you, man. Now, I don't want you guys to be dealing with people who express intense emotions of jealousy, right? That's toxic and that's not healthy for you. But it's normal for people to habituate to you. You know, when they habituate, you just gotta wake them up. You know what I'm saying? Let them know that there's someone waiting for you if you fuck up, you know? Now, you don't have to say that, you know what I'm saying? But generally speaking, they can sense the presence in other people by your willingness to have conflict, your willingness to show your suppressed side, your willingness to pull away, and your willingness to embrace your masculine and the feminine. People know that's attractive, and as a result, other people will want you because of it. You know what I'm saying?
All right, guys, we're going to have a brief intermission so that I could tell you guys about our new bundle that we're doing where you guys can purchase all of my courses and get it at a discount. So this bundle is pretty much the bundle where you could just buy all of my courses. You could buy Nice Guy, which is a training course on how to come across more assertive, how to come across more confident, how to not give off nice guy vibes. You guys can get access to Dark Game, which is my full dating course on how to meet women in different scenarios, how to attract women, how to make sure you don't come across as creepy, and essentially how to act like a man and not act like a doofus, to be quite honest with you. And you get all of these bonuses, which is the bonuses of Dark Game, the bonuses of Practical Mastery, which is about how to master a skill, Social Mastery, which is how to master your social life, and the Laws of Human Nature, which is a book club videos that I had dissecting Robert Greene's book. All of this is naturally at around naturally is at $346, but you guys can purchase this bundle and get it at what's the price again? Get it at $238 pretty much. So you guys can purchase it right now. It's a money back 30-day money back guarantee. It's a good way to, rather than just buying them individually and paying extra, you guys can just purchase everything at a discount price. Now, the only thing I don't like is the fact that I'm giving you a lot of information at the same time. That makes me kind of scared because a lot of times people don't do the things that I teach when you get too much information. But I've gotten too many requests to do this, so I'm just satisfying you guys. Purchase it right now by clicking on the description down below where it says purchase the bundle. All right, let's continue with the video.